Welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Now we have a small break from severe weather. More bad weather is expected to come in the next few hours or maybe even days. But right now, a lot of you people looked out and you have some damage. Maybe you have some issues with your power. Maybe you have some other things going on. We're just trying to get you as much help as we can and still keep an eye on the news and make sure you know everything that's going on that affects you news-wise too. Because, like today, if you're a talk show host, what do you report on first? Right now, the prosecution is doing their closing arguments in the Trump trial. They took a break earlier, and the caption on Fox News said, prosecution's 1/3 of the way done with their closing arguments. Okay, well, then the defense goes after that, and then jury deliberates. So we're seeing movement on that. Also, today is Election Day, which for many people is a forgotten election day. This is going to be the smallest turnout you'll probably see all year. And it's probably the most important one. This is the primary runoffs where the candidates, this is where incumbents get unseated. If the incumbent in a hyper red or blue district gets past this, they're already going to be just formalitied in the November election. So this is where the real change in governance comes from. So that's super important. But I feel like a goober talking about that when there's still around, 300,000 people or so in the WBAP listening nation that don't have power right now. And we like to, act like we're not soft and luxurious, but we can't live without power. You talk about how you can live without your phone, you can live without your TV and your Xbox and your toaster, but let me tell you something. Go a couple days without air conditioning when it's hot, and then slowly watch all the food in your freezer spoil, and electricity becomes super duper important again. So if you're having electric issues, sometimes it's not something that you can't do anything about it. You just have to play the waiting game, and you hope ERCOT or Encore or Reliant or whoever your provider is on top of it. For some of you people, you're having electrical issues because a giant tree branch fell, and some of that repair is going to be on you. Some of it's not Encore. Some of it happened to your house. That's a dangerous situation, but also from the point of view of a homeowner, man, that sounds expensive. And then you run into the triple whammy here of, at a time like this, you may have a guy that you've used before, or you may get a recommendation, you call them and they're busy. There's a whole bunch of people who need that service right now. And so then you call the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. And finally there's someone who can come out there and give you an estimate, but you don't know these guys. You don't know the company. You don't know their background. You don't know how long they've been in business. You didn't even get a recommendation. You kind of get desperate for just anyone to come out there and take care of that. And this is one of the important things about advertising. It's not just letting people know about your business. It's establishing over the course of, 5-10 years. These are legit companies. These are companies that have, if you've stayed in business for 5-10 years, the likelihood that you're running around ripping people off, it doesn't go to zero, but it diminishes greatly. It's almost a guarantee that if you have someone that your favorite radio host is endorsing, that they've been through somewhat of a backing process. And if they've been doing it for years and years, it's pretty solid at this point. Such as my next guest from Mr. Electric. You guys have been endorsed by Hal J for years, our morning show host on WBAP. And it's in a situation like this, I want to lean on all you Hal J fans who are waiting in line at WeatherCon just to have a selfie taken with him. This is your chance to pay him back. If you're having some electrical issues, call Robert. Or I'm talking to Robbie, actually. Robert's your dad, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Robbie?
Yes, sir.
All right. So how busy are y'all right now?
Well, the phone's actually been kind of blowing off the hook quite a bit today. It's pretty typical. Anytime there's a storm that blows through, we get a lot of calls when it comes to power outages or electrical damage.
Yeah. So here's what I guess happens. The power goes out during the storm, and people check the online maps, and maybe they see like their neighbor's lights come on or the street lights come on, but the power in your house doesn't come on. So now, it's not Encore's fault. There's something wrong with me. What's the first step they should do, Robbie?
You're talking about as far as just literally step outside and see if maybe a branch fell on their riser? Because if that's what's happened, if it's pulled their electrical line outside of their home, yeah, there's no need to call Encore there. But yeah, calling Encore if it's just lights flickering or, if you lost power, that's usually the first step. That saves everybody a lot of time because they're going to be, their phones are going to be a lot busier than ours are, especially with, these storms rolling through.
So what about the idea of if you're not sure if you're having electrical issues in your house that you run to that big panel and turn everything off? Am I overreacting if I do that?
Yeah, I wouldn't run to the panel and touch anything myself, especially if, a homeowner doesn't have any electrical experience. You're going to want an electrician to do that.
So what if there's electrical issues from lightning strikes? How does that make itself apparent?
Oh, you mean like if some of your appliances and stuff are flickering or not working? Usually that's what's going to see the lightning strikes, something that's digital or the small circuit boards. That's usually where you're going to have issues when it comes to lightning strikes.
Yeah, lightning strikes like to blow out my TVs. Is that something I call you for?
No, not necessarily. Not if your TV gets blown up. No, sir, I wouldn't be able to tell you, yeah, give me a call if you get a lightning strike and your TV blown up. Now, if your circuit gets damaged, that's another conversation.
Well, how often is it that if lightning strikes and my TV gets blown up, I could just plug in another TV and I don't need to check on the rest of that stuff?
Again, man, we're tiptoeing down some waters here where I don't want to speak out of turn.
Right.
But usually if the rest of your house is okay and then you just got small appliance damage, that's usually a small appliance problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, so essentially you probably could plug another TV in there and it could fire right back up or not. There's probably a lot of scenarios there, boss.
Well, I also think whenever you have a period of people being without power, especially in large swaths of the population, this is the best salesman that you possibly have for an electric generator. How many people are going to be switching to those and signing up for that now that they've had to experience life without electricity for a few hours? Oh,
yeah, generators have been a thing since that freeze we got back, 3, 4, 5 years ago now.
3?
Those have been steadily climbing ever since then. That's something we can help with for sure. We don't sell the generators ourselves. We would buy the generator no different than you guys would. But when it comes to the electrical hookup, making sure that thing comes on when your power goes out, that's where we come into play.
Right. I just want to make sure my AC stays on and my fridge stays on. How easy is that to do?
It's easy for a professional. You know what I mean? It's not something that anybody could walk outside and hook up for sure.
I wouldn't try that. No way.
No. But once it's all said and done, it's real easy on the customer because it'll come on naturally or come on automatically.
All right. If you're doing great, Robbie. If you're having any of these issues and you're looking for someone to come out, Mr. Electric FW. They're located in Fort Worth. MrElectricFW.com. This is Robbie Loomis, son of Robert Loomis, who they've been on endorsed by Hal J on our morning show for years. So thank you very much for taking some time. I know it's a super busy time for Mr. Electric. Thanks, Robbie.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. This has been Robbie Loomis. Again, MrElectricFW.com. And it's not the whole word, Mr. It's MrElectricFW.com.